Hello, thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For this cycle, I guess you would call it, I'm going to use the Awaken Tarot. I haven't used this one in a while, but I do like this deck. I think it was created like a group effort because it's got team, I always mess up the name, RYVE, so Reeve. And there's myreeve.com at the bottom if you want to check that out. So that way if you like this deck and you want to check it out, feel free to do so. There's that. The Oracle cards I'm going to be using are Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. Big fan of Sandra. And the website, that's why I got the book out. Websites are, am I on the right one? Yep, there are a bunch of Hay House websites. Feel free to freeze frame and go into any of those you're interested in. Sandra Ann Taylor, I think there's something on the back here too, so I'll show you that. Feel free to freeze frame and check out any of the information. I think there's a website at the bottom, or there's a Hay House Radio link there or something. And the last part is I do use dice. For the major arcana, I use a 22-sided dice. I use 22 as 0 for the Fool, and then, up to 21 is the World. And then I have a 14-sided dice for the minor arcana, and then I use a 4-sided dice to choose the element. And Math Art Fun, I think, is what the website is. If I get that close enough, hopefully you can see it. mathartfun.com if you want to find the dice. Alright, I think we're good with that. Of course, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for watching, and now let's go on to your read. Hello, Aquarius. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Aquarius? They're teasing. Is this going to be good? Ooh. There's a lot of cards popping out here. So, that's total. Okay. So, it's good, but it's like, it's Aquarius good. So when I say it's Aquarius good, it's like, you're going to like how this works out. Are other people going to like how this works out? I don't know. Do they need to? Do they need to? Your card's coming up at the end, so there's a very interesting ending going on here, but it looks like it's going to go to your liking, so let's see. Starting off, you have gotten along with these people before. Question is, are you currently? Now, this might be an interesting situation because it might be family, might be coworkers, could be longtime friends. It does feel like it's longtime friends. It feels like it. I'm saying that like it could be somebody that like maybe you met. It could be even a few months ago, but like you got close pretty quickly. So if you met these people a few months ago, you got close pretty quickly. So that's the only way this is going to hit, in my opinion, because I get like. You got along with people, they let you know what they were doing, you saw a lot of possibilities here. Strategy, like when I keep getting this is like, I feel like they showed me what was going on. I keep getting like this map or whatever's behind it. I feel like they showed you what was going on. They let you in and said, hey Aquarius, this is how this works. This is where it's been, this is where it is, and this is where it's going. And here's all the ways we're going to try to make it happen. And I feel like this is them showing you like what was going on. You could have been a part of the strategy, for sure, but I feel like it was already there when you showed up and these people included you in on it. Probably had your say with it, but that's its own thing. Now, as we keep going forward into the current energy, there is a strategy here. You're fluid with the strategy. Other people are not. So if things come up and they might have to change, Aquarius usually, there's a lot of different flavors of Aquarius. Usually Aquarius is more fluid with that. Like, oh, okay, things went a little differently. That's what life is. Let's see what we got in front of us now. But there's this very like strong. Other people want this to be like, no, no, no. We got a strategy. We want to stick with this strategy. No, 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 no. And there's a lot of like weird energy around it, like people kind of like people saying things they shouldn't say is what I'm getting. I don't think you're doing that. Like, could Aquarius do that if you wanted to? Clearly, I don't think you're the one doing that though. But somebody's saying things to like put question marks out here, more question marks, and I feel like that's aggravating the situation. It's going to lead to a conflict because the anxiety is like there's certain people who want this plan. Like the plan is the plan, and they're not happy about the conflict. So people are upset. There's conflict here. People are upset. People are having issues. Your energy coming in is trying to calm the energy. Kind of like, all right, let's just be realistic. See what's in front of us. After we can see everything in front of us, it's all laid out there. Once we have all that, we can see what we can do with it. We're going to try to stay on plan. But, for example, if we want to make a beef dinner and we don't have any beef, we're going to need to make some changes. If we wanted beef but we have chicken, we might be able to still use the base that we had, but it's going to be a chicken dinner. It's going to be a beef dinner, not a beef dinner. It's going to have a different flavor. So let's see if we can get the beef. If we can't, let's see what we end up, because who knows, we might end up with shrimp. Maybe we'll end up with tofu. Maybe we won't have any main meat, protein, whatever. We'll have to see what we get. So let's get it out in front of us. If you're kind of like the, let's just look at what we got, let's just sort it out, get it all in front of us, and we'll see what we can do. Let's do that. Who knows? Maybe we end up with chicken, but we know somebody else who has too much beef. Maybe they'll trade us our chicken for their beef. Who knows? Let's see what we got first. So that's your energy, kind of like let's bring it down. It's kind of like I feel like you're seeing this like it's gonna be what it's gonna be. But maybe I can give out possibilities to just calm people down for now. Not likely somebody's gonna trade us their beef for our chicken. It's not likely, but it is a possibility. Who knows? Life has its possibilities. I just need to get things out there to calm it down. Let's just calm it down so we can deal with it. Calm it down so we can look at it. Let's see what's in front of us. You're solidifying the situation. Your energy is solidifying it. Ooh, you're giving a lot of possibilities here. Ten of Pentacles. Is that the Four of Wands? Yeah. It's not just showing possibilities. It's kind of like your energy is more about showing like I do care about the situation. I do want it to work out. I do value it. I know that it's important to you, so I'm going to try my best, but we got to slow down, see what we got. And you're just bringing in that like you're bringing in that respect. Like I care. I do. Let's see what we got and let's see what we can do. We got to bring it down, see what we have. So you're bringing that energy in of value, energy in of stability, energy in of like I have the concern. You're bringing in a lot of heart to it. A lot of heart. Like I do care. I definitely care. But we got to work with what we have. So we're going to do the best we can, but you're bringing in that realistic energy of like, I care. If we can have what you want, I want that to happen, and I'll look for it the best I can. But let's let it settle and see what we have. It seems like I keep coming back to that. Because the energy around it does not want to, there's a lot of earth around it, kind of like, I don't want to change, I don't want to change, I don't want to change, I don't want to change. This was the plan needs to stay the same. And you're like, I respect that. Let's see what we have realistically. You're also kind of worried is what I'm getting, kind of like, if we can't, like, they want a beef dinner and we didn't get any protein at all. If is it ratatouille? I think it's ratatouille. It doesn't have any meat in it. Is that right? I could be wrong. If that's what we have to end up with, they're not going to like it, but we might have to force it forward. I don't know. There's another energy here that's not participating. Okay. Five of Pentacles, half in, half out. They're not really participating, and they might not be very helpful. This is a good card, but like somebody's outside the situation that could be helpful that won't come in. If they feel forced into the situation, they're going to work against the situation. Keep that in mind. If they feel, doesn't mean they're literally forced in, but if they feel forced in, they're going to work against it. So it's kind of like, oh, there was beef there, but they made sure it was rotten. They like made sure it stayed out in the counter all night so that it couldn't be used. Like, you know what I mean? There's this energy around it. So it's self-sufficient. I'm not saying it's a bad energy, but it's kind of like it wants to be left alone is what I'm getting with this card. This is like my single card, like leave me alone card. Like sometimes I'm happy to being left alone. If you force it in, or if it just feels forced in, it could be a very contrary. It could cause problems. It's better to leave it off on its own. That's all. Because that's like, they want what they want, and as long as you leave me alone, I'm good. I won't cause you any problems, you won't cause me any problems. They're one of those. Keep that in mind. They're very good at the self-loyalty, but if they feel forced, they're going to be a problem. Keep that in mind. The Wheel of Fortune turns. We got to do something. I think that's the thing. Okay, what are we doing? Okay. Wheel of Fortune turns. Ten of Swords comes in. And the Chariot. The half in, half out is the Chariot. Okay, so Wheel of Fortune turns. The plan, the strategy, the people, it's not happening. It's not happening. Whatever they wanted, no beef. Probably no protein either. No protein at all. So, kind of like, we might be going that ratatouille route, if that's right. I don't know if I'm right off the top. I want to say ratatouille doesn't have any meat in it. I could be wrong. So, after this happens, what they're saying, don't do the legwork to try to make it happen. Don't try to find the beef. Don't try to find a protein. Kind of like, well, we could get beans. That's a protein. So maybe we can at least do beans. Or it's kind of like, it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of something like, maybe we found some like pork spare ribs or something. Kind of like, well, maybe that'll work. I don't know if they like them, but at least we'll have them. That's a protein. That should work, right? You're not going to get the beef. The beef isn't going to happen. So like whatever was originally wanted is not going to happen. This could be very technical. It might be like they wanted a chuck roast, and it's like technically you could get hamburger, which is still beef, but it's kind of like they're like no, that's not it. They might be technical like that. If it's not exactly what they wanted, they're still like, no, that's not gonna do it. So they're saying don't try to make it work. Ironically, take it with a grain of salt. Instead of doing that, acknowledge it right off. Kind of like, all right, we didn't get a protein, but we need to eat. We can make ratatouille. That's stuck in my brain, so there you go. Just move it forward fairly quickly if you can. That Tower card makes me feel like things happening fast. Moving into a good energy. Just start the ball rolling. I know it says indecision here. They're warning against it. Just move it forward. Just make the quick decision. Make the satisfactory quick decision. Don't get stuck in indecision. That's easily going to happen here. They're warning. I feel like this is a warning card. At least in this reading, I feel like it's warning that if we try to brainstorm it out, it's analysis. It's paralysis by analysis is what I'm getting. Just make the quick decision, quick satisfactory decision. Let's just move past it. It doesn't need to be a lifelong journey. That's the advice. You do, of course, what you feel is right. The situation will move forward quicker than expected. Okay? For you, the quicker road is better because once it's over, you get to move on from it. But I also feel like there's problems here. The person that didn't get what they wanted, the strategy that didn't work, it just wasn't going to happen this time. I feel like you're going to need to step back from it for a little while. It doesn't mean it has to be a permanent disconnect, but it might be a temporary one at the very least. The situation passes on. It moves on. It doesn't need to live here forever. It needs to kind of go into the twilight on that one. They need to make peace with it themselves. Whoever this is, they need to make peace with it themselves. They're going to be bent out of shape about it, but it was what it was. It's not your fault. Ultimately, they're not going to blame you. Ultimately. There might be periods of time where they kind of like, well, Aquarius did this or Aquarius did that. There may be some of that game going on. Ultimately, when the reality is looked at, there was no protein. It wasn't going to happen. So, ultimately, you needed to make a decision. You just moved it forward. It's over. Be aware that you're going to want to say some things. You don't need to. If you do say something, it's going to go into an argument. If you want that, that's your business. I'm feeling for the majority of you, you really don't. But they're just saying, yeah, the reason I feel like you don't want it is because it's not going to lead anywhere. It's going to be a pointless argument where it just doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't make anything better. It doesn't solve any problems. It doesn't make the future any brighter. It's not going to be like, well, now that I know that, I'll do this next time. It's not going to be anything like that. So it's going to be a wasted argument, which I usually think Aquarius doesn't waste their time on like that stuff. Aquarius will go into an argument in the sense of like, oh, I can get information. There's things I need to know. If I can at least find out what I want to know, okay, we'll do that. To a point. But like just to have a pointless argument, just to scream at somebody and have them scream at you, what's the point? What's the point? Not that they have to really scream, but like just to have a conflict just for conflict's sake. What's the point? If Aquarius argues, they argue with a purpose. There's going to be a kind of a stagnant time while this is going on. Things could go stagnant for a while. I get that this, for most of you, is going to be a temporary disconnect. Things could be stagnant for a while. I don't think the connection is lost, but it's going to be stagnant for a little while. When it comes back in, it has to be when this energy has worked out the issue and can see the ultimate, like, it wasn't going to happen energy. Like, all right, it wasn't going to happen. And then you could sort it out with them after they've come to that peaceful spot. They have to return to that on their own. I feel like when that is apparent, I feel like they will approach you. I feel like it'll be obvious. I don't know. I feel like you'll know. They'll come like, you know what? I realized you did the best you could. I feel like it's going to start off in some type of mood like that. That maybe not those exact words, but kind of like, you know what, Aquarius? I realized you did the best you could. Something like that. And then you could sort it out and just kind of tie up the loose ends. From that point, there may be something that you could gain from a conversation that might be a little bit rough on pieces of it, but you can still grow from. It'll be fine. That this will come back together at that point for the majority of you. For those of you that maybe this might be like it's over, we're not coming back together to it, I feel like there's just something that you're getting out of this later that you weren't expecting. Even if this is one of those situations where, we ended up going our separate ways and we needed to, there's some type of like balance or something you're learning after the fact, after all the dust settles, that is of value to you. So just in case. I don't think that's for the majority of you. I think that's for a few of you, not many. But in case, there will be some type of balancing out of that, because the Justice card talks about balance. So anything else? All right. I think we're set. I'm going to shut this down here. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.